athletics, and I spent most of my life playing ball, coaches live, sleep, and breathe to find a game changer. Some ideal, Tom Landry, came up with a defensive model and a flex defense that changed the game. The Tampa Bay 2-deep defense. Looking for something, some ideal, or some event that will revolutionize and change the way we do things. Catastrophic events. The recession can change how we do things. Well, I believe infinity is a game changer.
Yes.
Yes.
I made a mistake in 1989. I was going through some personal crisis. I had just been offered an opportunity, and because of some drama in my life and the need for a change in the location, I moved up north to Ohio, and I left Dallas, and I forego and gave up an opportunity to be involved in Excel communications. And I have regretted that moment all my life until I got a second chance.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And I'm not stupid, because the pathway to success is a well-worn path trodden by all those who've gone before me.
Yeah, yes.
We live in a country that has an economic system designed by the people who have and want to keep it. They want to increase their wealth and protect their wealth from being distributed and disseminated down. So they designed a mechanism. There was a time when we could not play in that game. It was exclusive domains for those who controlled it. But as it is in anything, some things are unsustainable. Times change. And so we had an event that occurred that now enables us to know what they know. And more importantly, to be able to do what they do. Now, some of us can't recognize the opportunity because they have convinced us that we can't do what they do because we don't possess what they have and we don't know what they know, and that's a lie. Okay? And everybody won't dare to dream big. I'm going to talk to you a little bit this morning about a natural event and a phenomenon called diamond making. Now, it requires you to suspend your traditional way of thinking and to get outside the box. Because we need to think about the chemical table. And this is science. It's going back to basic elementary kinds of stuff. But people think that diamonds are made from coal. Well, that's only partially true. Diamonds are from a natural chemical compound. They're made from carbon atoms. And carbon atoms are the fourth most abundant mass in the universe, behind hydrogen, helium, and oxygen. It is the chemical basis for all known life, and it makes up over 18.5% of the human body, second only to oxygen. So anything that lives must have carbon atoms or that makeup. Now let me tell you a little about diamonds. It's a four-stage process. One, diamonds are found 100 feet beneath the Earth's surface. Now, can you imagine what that's actually telling us? To be 100 feet deep means that you're at the plate of the Earth, which means that there's a tremendous amount of pressure being applied. And the temperature is in excess of 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It is an environment that is not necessarily conducive for what? For life.
For life.
Yet, life is being forged and created under that extreme pressure and in the heat. It begins a process of what we call combustion. Combustion is the igniting and then the beginning of some energized process. Well, that second step in that process is what we call bonding. That for an atom, a carbon atom, to survive, it must begin to collect or to bind or join itself with 4 other carbon atoms. 1 plus 4 is what? 5. 5. Wow. We're talking about silver. And they must combine and join in order to survive under those extreme conditions. Because to be alone is tantamount to being dead. You can't survive. It's the forming of a new community. That life comes from the association and the building of a new network in a very hostile environment. Now, the third part of that stage is called the crystallization process. Because now each atom, because of the association, begins to share, and it brings about a revolutionized process where each one begins to take on the characteristics of the others. One may have one thing and the other may have one thing. But the sum total of all the five are greater than the individual value and worth of a singular carbon atom. Then, after the crystallization begins to occur, other communities are being formed, because what happens is one atom sees what's happening with another carbon atom, and it begins to form a community. And as each one begins to form a community, there's this magnetic or this gravitational pull that brings them all together. And suddenly, there's this new manifestation, and it's beginning to erupt. And because they form this coalition, they begin to work their way up through the various stratospheres of the Earth. And then there's this volcanic eruption. And suddenly that which was not seen and was not known in that, what we call hostile environment, now bursts and bursts through the Earth's stratospheres and is seen on the surface. And people begin to take notice. And then the fourth step is what stage is what we call the revelational stage, or the stage of manifestation. Is that now there's a new model. There's a game changer. That which seemed so insignificant has become significant. That which people looked over and seen as mundane, and oftentimes walked over, thrown over, suddenly they begin to see it with new eyes and recognize the value. And it changes. It's a paradigm where there's a change in the model, the way of doing things. In psychology, which is my field and my area of training, we call it the 4 stages and process of social change. Okay? And I made a little note, I'm just going to share it with you. It says, 1, that there must be an antagonistic environment. Antagonistic forces us to get out of our comfort zone. When the old way, the old model is no longer producing what we hoped and what we dreamed for. Because it's only in uncomfortable situations that there's enough irritation that forces us to have to move, seek, and pursue a better way. To get out of that mentality of looking for a safer and easier way to achieve. Because greatness does not come easy. Okay? I play ball at every level, from Pop Warner to middle school to high school to college and to pro, required me to increase the knowledge and the ability. Competition became fewer, but the competition became more intense and more greater. And I had to meet that demand. The second stage of formation of a new model is called the formation of shared communities out of shared adversities. We're all dealing with the same kinds of pressure. Maybe not with the levels of the Earth's stratosphere pressing on us, but man, the pressure that we get through the 36,000 commercials that we see every day and don't realize, that seeks to indoctrinate us and shape our minds to make us become worker bees, to believe that we can't do what they're doing, to get us to become subservient, to become domesticated. That means to take the fight out of a wild thing so that you can be trained to be used by the hand of the master who wants to attach you to the plow. When we go through things together, we begin to understand that our strength is in numbers. I'm here because of this young lady. Because I saw in her what at one time was in me, and that I had allowed to become dulled and to some extent stifled. And she became a catalyst to renew in me, to create that spark, to plant that flame of gift so that I can what? Dream dreams again. I made 6 figures. I know that the difference between being stressed with money and being stressed without money is that I can lay on the beach in Cancun and in Paris as opposed to what? Being in Oak Cliff. Okay? Because where you take your problems makes a world of difference in your life, your ability to be able to what? Create an environment that's conducive for you to deal with your problems. So shared communities are important. We're forming a new community here. I've been involved in opportunities like Amway, Avon, and so forth from the beginning. My family was in Avon from almost the start. My aunt was a regional vice president for the East Coast. Made good money, provided all kinds of perks and so forth. So I understand. I've suffered some catastrophic events in my life that took over $500,000 of savings that I had through investments in the 40-40 plan starting from my age 20 when I left college. See, in today's time, there are events and circumstances that you know not of that can occur at a moment and then steal your life's dreams and all your hopes. But if you've done it once, you can do it again. Amen. They can take away the things that you collected, but they can't take away the ideals and the knowledge and the ability that you have and that you used before. The third thing is what we call a new manifestation. The word manifestation means it has to be shown. We show the plan. Man, if you can't get excited about this, check your pulse. Blood's flowing through your veins. Because this is a game changer. I have 10 years to try to accumulate what I had saved and accumulated over 35 years.
You're right about that.
I'm trying to tell you that the sun is not rising in my life. It's past high noon. So I have less years ahead of me than I have behind me. So I'm looking for a game changer, something that will enable me to do in a relatively short period of time what I had to do over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for the last 15 years. And I believe with all my heart that I found it. That's the faith. Now, we're not talking about blind faith. See, faith is based on evidence that I can trust that the process will work and that there's a system in place that will produce a certain outcome. See, scientists know how diamonds are made, and they know it takes a long time, but they know that time invested is worth what's going to be produced. Before that diamond can be placed on your finger and you walking around it has to be in Zales or what's that commercial you got on TV today?
Jared.
Before it makes it to Jared. Before it's down on,
the diamond industry.
Radio Drive and all those kind of places. It has to go through an extremely difficult process over a period of time to become the darling and the apple of our eyes. This same process here. But it's not going to take us no millenniums. Look here. I got 13 people directly under me right now. I already got my 5 activated RECs. Now my goal is to get with them and to get them to get 5 activated. I don't work for nobody. I haven't since the first 5 years, the first 8 years of my life when I was regional director for the Missouri Department of Mental Health and Mental Retardation. And I'm saying they're paying me at that time $87,000 a year. What are they making?
Right?
Yeah.
And they're working me like a slave. So I decided that I want what they got. And that if there has to be a shot caller, why not me?
Yeah.
Because I believe I'm cut like that. That if they live and they breathe, and I live and I breathe, and given the time, the opportunity, the resources, and support, if I commit myself, I can do what anybody else who lives, breathes, does. And so here we have the time, we make the time, we have the support, the resources, and the opportunity, and we need to avail ourselves of it. And we will live like kings because that's who we are. We're diamonds in the rough, and we're going through the trials of fire, and the pressure is on. But we commit ourselves to endure and to commit ourselves to follow a simple plan of instruction. We can have what Ephraim has, and those who tried to cut him out don't want him to have. It is possible. Dreams are possible.